Well, hello and welcome to another live video
Hi,
with
everyone.
9to5Toys. I'm Jordan Swartzentruber. I kind of run the YouTube videos kind of side of things here, and joined by Rika, the lead editor over at 9to5Toys.com.
Hope you're all having a great Friday so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for joining us again. Um, we're kind of trying to make up for last week where we had some technical difficulties,
Yeah.
but everything is going great so far. So we are excited about that.
Yeah, we've actually, I don't know, spent time testing ahead of time to make
Yeah.
sure that we don't have another mishap. So fingers
Yeah.
crossed that we're just gonna be smooth sailing through the next hour or so.
Yep, spent a lot of time testing. Yeah, I ended up resetting my PC, so I had to like reinstall everything, change all of my settings, get Discord set up again. But it was worth it because everything's working well now. So
Yeah, I know the things we do to make content, we just gotta
yep. All
yeah.
right, so this week
So yeah.
we have quite a few things to dive in and talk about. I think the first one up here that we have we're going to talk about is the first review that I did this week, which was the Thrustmaster E Swap S, their latest controller, which is
Yeah,
kind of
let's walk
geared,
through it.
yeah, it's kind of geared at combating stick drift, which is a big issue that a lot of people um, a lot of people have with controllers, and it goes across a bunch of different types of controllers, and it kind of I think comes down to the actual hardware that companies are using in there. So what Thrustmaster, like, basically instead of just like fixing stick drift, they're just like, okay, we'll make that part replaceable, so you can just buy a new one if it starts to malfunction. Which is, I mean, I think that's a good step because otherwise, you have to spend
Yeah.
$130 for another new controller. But with this one, you can just replace the one piece that's being bad.
Yeah, how much are the little modules that you can replace?
They
Like
are
how yeah.
$20.
Okay, so that's not too bad.
Yeah, yeah, much better than a full controller.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and Harrison Kelly looks like Sony is doing that too with the Edge controller. Oh, cool. Yeah, it's a neat way to go. And so this one, the eSwap S, this is their at least their second one. I don't know if they had another one before
Mhm.
that, but the eSwap X actually had a replaceable D-pad as well, which they don't have on the S. They
Cool, so
changed those
that's
to,
just built right in?
yep, yeah, those little quickie little micro switches. I don't know if you can hear
Oh,
that.
cool. I mean, I can hear it pretty well.
Nice.
Are there other, joys is it just, like, you can swap out for the same joysticks, or do they offer different options, so, if, like,
What?
to help customize the experience a little more, or is it just solely for, like, a year down the road, your joystick is drifting like crazy and you gotta replace it?
Right. I was looking at that because in some of their marketing materials, they have some other interesting little modules put in there,
Yeah.
but I don't see any of those for sale on the website. So I don't actually know, what they offer there. Here on the stream, you can kind of see they have the three different modules. There's the D-pad, the mini stick, or two different mini sticks. I think one is a little bit shorter, but also has a little more resistance
Mhm.
to it. And that pretty sure that's what's in this new one, the eSwap S. Um, but yeah, I'm trying to think. Maybe it was in where I saw that stuff, but they had some pictures that had some pretty interesting other modules that they
Yeah,
put
I'd
in
love to
there.
see, like, for more specific, I don't know, like for fighting game type applications, or just, I don't know, like really specific like game types where you, I don't know, might want to swap it out for something that isn't like a standard joystick would be very cool.
Right.
But
Totally.
I don't know, maybe in the future, like if they, I don't know, maybe like 6 months from now, they'll release like a whole batch of them, and we'll get some like super specific tech for like that. I know that like five people will be like, "Whoa, this is just for me."
Yeah, I mean, as long as they can, make something that fits in this
Yeah.
little form factor, I'm sure it has the same, contacts.
Mhm.
So really, whatever they can do to kind of fit in there, they really could just kind of mix that up and put some cool
Yeah,
things in
go
there.
crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and that's another big change with the eSwap S, the newer one, is it has different
Mhm.
paddles here on the back. Because on the X, it had these four buttons, not really paddles, but
Mhm.
on the newer S, it just has these two that are more like paddles. It's not just a little button on there.
Mhm.
which is kind of nice.
Does it
Yeah, I mean,
feel quite the same as the original like the standard Xbox controller, or is it a little a little more ergonomic, or about the
it's
same?
different. So it's the handles are a little bit thinner, but then
Mm-hmm.
also a little bit longer, and so it like kind of it sits in your hand differently. And I'm not sure. I don't know. I didn't really love it or hate it compared to the normal controller. Like I thought that it was fine.
Yeah.
But
I
it is a
mean, I was
difference.
always yeah. I've always been such a big fan of Xbox controllers, which is why I'm glad that Sony like switched over to the more ergonomic design for the PS5 and like
Yeah,
for the new DualSense Edge coming out, but it's always
yeah,
cool to see yeah, I guess that they went with something a little different than just copying like what Xbox has by default.
yeah. And here on the stream, I found the picture that had those different things on it. So there's
Yeah.
this little like rotary dial, or I
Oh
don't know if that's
wow.
just a round D-pad. I'm not sure exactly what that is.
That's so cool.
But yeah,
Yeah.
like yeah, and even just having the different colors is kind of cool. Like,
Mhm.
why not have some different options where you can
Yeah.
customize it a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, just like I mean, and not to like segue to what we'll talk about later, but with like I love with the Nintendo Switch that you can just like swap the colors on the Joy Cons in and out. At, like it doesn't really change the functionality, but at the very least, it like you get you can make it your own. And I feel like because I know that like Microsoft does the you can customize the controller like color palette. They do like the design lab thing where you can I don't know if it costs a little extra, but you can pay to have a custom controller made.
Yeah,
It'd be pretty yeah, so it'd be cool if, they let you do that after the fact with, like, if Thrustmaster was like, "Oh, we're just gonna circumvent it," and you can, a year down the road, you can swap in a neon blue joystick if you want.
yeah, totally. I mean, I don't, completely know like the manufacturing side and costs of it and everything like that, but it
Yeah.
seems like they could just, like, I know, like, with Harley motorcycles, that's where they make a lot of their money is just on accessories and
Yeah.
aftermarket stuff. So it'd be interesting.
Oh, yeah, and we got a question in the chat about the HyperX monitor that we talked about,
Oh
I think,
yeah,
last week.
yeah, that's what I'm using as my main display right now. Um, when it will be available for purchase? Um, well, I guess I don't know. I'd have to look back at some of the
Yeah.
materials. Um, actually, I'm gonna look real quick and see if I have any info in my emails from that. Um,
Yeah.
let's see what we got here. Because yeah, it's a solid monitor. I mean, like I said in my review, we kind of talked about it. Like it's for what it is. Like I think it's a little expensive, um, but it's still a really good monitor. And having the package with the ARM included is pretty awesome. So it says expected availability in August. So
Well,
uh, yeah, I guess
yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
expected.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, with how everything's been going, like with, just tech in general, I'm not surprised that it'd be delayed a little bit, but like let's
Right.
hope that it's like they get it around in the first couple weeks of September here. And
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you see another ship got stuck in the canal?
Oh yeah.
Like yeah, I don't know if it's still stuck, but let's hope that the whole palette of the first wave of monitors wasn't, on that and it's just sitting there.
Right. Yeah. Who did I see tweet about that? Oh, it was like random Frank P, another
Yeah.
tech YouTuber. It's like, oh great. Just when we were starting to
Yeah,
get
there
stuff
they
in
are.
stock. But yeah, here's the
Uh
ARM. We've got the coming soon on there. So I'm curious, yeah, even with the monitors coming soon, so those aren't available quite yet. But yeah, some solid
yeah.
stuff. Also bought the Epos H6 Pro closed. Nice. Yeah, I really, really like that headset. I really, really hope that they do like basically their I don't know what it'd be called, the Pro Hybrid
Yeah.
that gets wireless or ANC built into it. Kind of like really just their cream of the crop technology, audio technology in there, but then also make it wireless and ANC. I mean, that's what I'm using. I have the H3 hybrid here, H3 Pro hybrid,
Mhm.
basically because it has those features. But yes, I love the H6 Pro.
Yeah, I mean, glad that we are convincing people to make the right decisions,
Yeah,
It's
absolutely. It's fun
yeah.
to hear.
But I guess the final verdict on the Thrustmaster is
Hmm.
would you recommend it? Is it like if someone has an Xbox, should they go out and buy it and replace their stock controller, or
If you've so me personally, I don't think I've ever really been burnt by stick drift, so it's not that big. Like, I don't know if that's just like
yeah.
if I'm not put in as many hours as most people do, but I feel like I've
Mhm.
played a crap ton of Destiny 1 and I never had any
Yeah.
issues with my Elite Series 1. So I've never had like that hasn't been something that's like deterred me from picking something up.
Yeah.
So personally, I still really like the Elite Series. Um, Having the paddles on the back is something that I've become accustomed to, and it's really hard to play competitively
Mhm.
on anything that doesn't have those.
Yeah.
um, so with that, that's what I would recommend. And like the Elite Series 2 is very affordable now. A lot of people have had issues with it. I haven't experienced any, but I know that a lot of people have. So that's a very valid concern. But if that's something you are concerned about, yes, the Thrustmaster is a very good controller. Um,
Yeah,
I would
I
agree
mean,
on that.
great.
If you've been through like 4 different Elite 2s and you're sick and tired of it, this could be something that would be a good change. Hopefully, give you some more reliability with that.
Great, yeah, I mean, the how does the price stack up?
It's like right in line with Razer's Wolverine Chroma V2. It's like
Gotcha.
130, I think. Um,
Yeah, very cool.
and nowadays, I think you can get an Elite Series 2 for about that as well. So,
Yeah, I mean, they're on sale pretty often, so
yeah. Yeah, it's 130
but
for the E Swap S and then 160 for the X, which has the
great.
swappable D-pad.
Neat. I mean, yeah, thanks for running us through it. Like, I'm always a big fan of these a little like these quirky controllers that are a little more out there than your typical ones. So
Yeah.
it's fun that we get to see you go hands on with it. So I can kind of I don't know, like I'm not an Xbox gamer, so I would never personally get it, but it's
Yeah.
always neat to see what they're up to on the Xbox side of things.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And yeah, like we were talking about earlier, it just seems like sky's the limit for other modules and things they can put
Yeah.
in there to make it more interesting. So that'd be cool to see what else
Yeah.
they do
Well,
there.
I mean, if they do it, you heard it here first.
Yeah,
That
there we
we
go. It was our suggestion.
yeah. Uh,
Awesome. Well,
would
you
you
want to
like
move
to
on
hear? Yeah,
to one of yours?
yeah. I was gonna say, do you want to hear me talk about a NAS for a little too long and with a little too much enthusiasm? Because
Absolutely.
yeah, so earlier this week, I finally published a review of my latest hands-on with Synology's most recent NAS. It's the DS1522 Plus, but we won't continue saying that, that great name that rolls off the tongue. Um, yeah, it's a 5 bay NAS. If you're unfamiliar, it's a network attached storage box, and you pretty much put some hard drives into it, plug it into your router, and it lets you access the files that are on those hard drives just about anywhere. Um, I don't know, I've used countless NAS in the past and have like 100 terabyte server just like chilling around in my apartment in the other room. And so whenever Synology comes out with something new, I'm always really excited to check it out and just kind of see um how it stacks up to kind of some of their higher end stuff as well as some of their more affordable releases. And so this is kind of like it's a little pricey. It's in the like 700 range for the stock configuration, but I'm like, I don't the long and short of it is that, I titled the review "The Last NAS You'll Ever Need,"
Yeah,
and
that's some pretty
I got
strong
some
words
flack
there.
for that, by people who were just like, "That's ridiculous, like, you can never say that, like, they will always 50 years from now, someone might need a new NAS." And it's like, I
Yeah,
got you,
but
but,
right
like,
now, yeah.
yeah. And I call that out in the article. It's like, like realistically, like you might need a new NAS down the line, but this is like the first time that I've really felt like that Synology has made, or like really any company who makes like an off the shelf NAS has really gone out of their way to make an upgradable solution that like I don't know, like I've like NAS from Synology that are 5, 6 years old at this point, and they still run great. But like
Yeah.
if I've replaced them in like, when I bought them, they were like state like they were top of the line type things. And now like all these years later, they're still useful, but they're not quite as compelling anymore. And so the big thing with this NAS is that you can the big thing is on the back you can swap out the Ethernet NIC, like the interface card, so that you can put 10 gig internet in,
Oh,
and it
wow.
just makes it, yeah, and it's like, you can get that, like, I don't know, I got it, like, out of the like, right out of the box, like, mine had it configured, like, had the card in the box, and, like, I set it up with some SSDs, and so I was able to get like 800 megabit per second like write speeds from a NAS, which is like wild to
Whoa,
me.
that is
Um,
wild.
yeah, and like 1,000, like 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 1,000 megabit per second like write speeds would very impressive for an NAS. And
Absolutely.
like and yeah, and so like most people aren't going to need to do that right out of the box. Like I don't know, like I recommended NAS to a couple of friends like over the past like year or so who want to like switch from a stack of hard drives to something a little more, I guess like a little more sensible. And so like this is the first NAS where it's like someone could buy this for their their backup needs, or like someone who wants to offload footage or family pictures or whatever, and they have it, they're using it as is intended. And like 10 years from now, like if like 10 gig internet is the standard in a decade, then you can just like pay, I'm sure it will be much more affordable then too. You can pay $50 for a little card, slap it in, upgrade the RAM. Instead of buying a whole new box for like $800, you can pay like $100 to upgrade it, and it should work more or less like, I don't, it should be a little bit more capable than just like some of like the natural progression of some like of tech as it gets older. And so
Right.
I'm very impressed with it. And like it's not going to be for everyone. I don't, like, most people don't need a NAS, but like if you're in the market for one, I would certainly recommend. Yeah, like I always get giddy about networking gear, and so whenever Synology is like, "Hey, do you want to test this out?" I'm like, "I'm glad you asked. Of course I would."
So looking for exactly that. That's
Yeah.
actually, yeah, like you said, that is very exciting. I've got one as well that I basically just keep all of my old footage. Like when I'm done with a project, I
Mhm.
just offload it to
Yeah.
that. But I don't get nearly that like read and write speed. So I can't like,
Yeah.
pull from it or edit from it, but I can just like offload stuff slowly there, which is
Yeah,
kind of
and it's
nice.
definitely, yeah, like, and like I said, it's like not everyone is even going to have a PC that has like a 10 gig Ethernet card in it. But
Right.
like I got the Mac Studio, I guess earlier in the year, and it has 10 gig Ethernet on it, and I was just like, oh, like now I can finally use it, because like I have nothing in my in my entire network's like setup has 10 gig Ethernet support. Like I don't have switches that can do that, so there's really no way to test it out. But
Right.
it's definitely like one of the first tech products, or like first like NAS things where like I feel like it's truly like there was there like most of the time if you want like user upgradability, you're paying a little bit more. And I feel like this is one of the first times from Synology that we've seen some of those features carry over to a more like, I don't know, like $700 is still a lot for, I don't know, like a person to have, like for someone to just have in their home, but it's at least in the like, I don't think it's quite in the business like range anymore, and it's just it's a little more in like the prosumer category, and not like someone buying this as a business expense to set up at their at their small office and like run run their like services. But I'm very
Totally.
impressed with it. It's very cool. If you're in the market for a new NAS, you should check it out.
Absolutely. Yeah, we put
Yeah.
the link there in the chat if anybody does want to check it out. That's very cool. It might be something I have to look into as well. I've
Yeah,
been
I
running this
mean
one for a couple of
it,
years, so it'd be
yeah.
nice to get a little more speed out of it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Cool. Actually,
But
looking
no,
for
I
a
mean,
NAS for
yeah.
media storage. There you go. That's the one. There's
Yeah.
your that's the one you need. All right. Anything else you want
But
to
yeah.
mention on there or
Oh, no, I mean, I think like that pretty much does it. Like I'm quite impressed, and I think my headline really does say it all with some caveats. Like if you read the headline and you're like that can't be true, then like read the rest of the post, because I talk about why it could be the case that it could be your last Nats. But yeah, that's about my last word on it, is that it's worth your consideration.
yeah. Worth a read, it's worth a look. Awesome.
Yeah. Um, but and this is I think what and this is what I'm most excited about. I think so. You just went hours ago hands on with Razer's latest iOS controller grip. Would
That's
you
right.
care to enlighten me about it? I've yet to read the
Absolutely.
review,
Let's
so
chat.
I'm
Yeah, so it's the Android version has been out for a little bit, but I think Razer is just now releasing their new Kishi V2 for iOS. And if you've looked at mobile controllers before, I'm going to link this in the chat so you can check it out if you want. If you've looked at mobile controllers before, it looks very similar to another popular option. So this is the Kishi V2. It has that big brace in the middle. And then there is the Backbone 1. Like it looks
I could not have told you
very, very similar. And even on, it's kind of surprising. I mean, Razer keeps the branding pretty minimal on this, which is a little surprising for Razer. But there's a small Razer logo here on the side, and then like a triple-headed snake kind of on the middle of the brace there.
Oh,
that's
cool.
about it as far as branding. But like, okay, so here's the Kishi V1 versus the Kishi V2. Like, it's like a complete redesign, completely different controller. I mentioned in the
way more comfortable.
I mentioned in the review, like the only similarity between it is that they both don't have a 3.5 millimeter port. Like that's the only thing. Otherwise, it's completely different. But yeah, I mean, so talking on that, it's a solid controller. So they kind of changed and went away from, like on the Kishi V1. If you look at it, like these sticks actually kind of look more like an Xbox controller stick, and the buttons, like they are even colored, they kind of look more like an Xbox controller button, and they're a little bit mushy. They don't like have like a tactile click to them. And so they changed that with the V2. So it has these smaller sticks that are very similar to what's on the Backbone. But then it has like clicky tactile micro switches for all the buttons. I don't know if you can hear that, but
I can hear it.
Nice. And then it also has some extra mappable buttons up here by the triggers, so you can map some buttons to that and make it a little bit easier. Hey, JCap, thanks for joining us.
Welcome, JCap. Yeah, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, you're our regular.
Yeah,
so we're glad you're here. But yeah, I mean, otherwise it's pretty solid. It works well. Like everything's on here. The buttons are more satisfying because they have that click. Like you can kind of tell when you're pressing it instead of just like a little mushy button. But I will say,
which is always good.
I talked about this in the review as well, but the distance between the right thumbstick and the side here is pretty small. So like when I was playing like Call of Duty Mobile, so like a little bit more of an intense game, like I like to have my palm up against that, but then like to have the thumb there, like it felt a little bit cramped. Whereas on the V1, there's a little bit more space in there, a little bit bigger. So that was that's kind of my only gripe with the V2. Like I like the new buttons. I really like the back brace across the back. Like it makes it not as portable, but it makes it a lot more stable when you're actually gaming. But I miss the thumbsticks, and I miss it being like just a little bit bigger, a little bit wider for me.
Yeah. What phone did you use with it?
iPhone 8.
What did you say?
iPhone
8. So is like, and this is I guess something that you haven't personally tested, but is it compatible with the iPhone 13 series? Because like I think the big thing from the first one was that it technically could fit an iPhone like 13 Pro Max, but it was like barely fitting with the way that the camera bump like sits in.
So that was the big thing they did here was to make it a little bit bigger. And then also on the V1, you can kind of tell it has these little like notches in here, like it kind of like shapes it, frames it, where they did away with that on the V2. And then it has these little rubber inserts that work for smaller phones, but then you can remove those. And so there's a lot more space in there for bigger phones. So yeah, that was definitely something like that's one of the biggest changes here is that they want to be able to accommodate more devices and make it a little bit more future proof. And yeah, they absolutely did that. And so it can expand, I think like 7 inches or something like that. But yeah, so like it's a good controller. It's solid. And when I was playing like Diablo Immortal, like, it wasn't uncomfortable. Like it felt fine for that when I'm doing more pushing face buttons more than I am like moving the stick constantly, trying to pwn noobs.
Is there one you prefer, like, after using the backbone and now Razer's latest, is there one that you think is a definitive winner? Or is it a little more of, what you value more in a mobile gaming
Yeah.
experience? Like,
I
how
think
do
it
they
is more of
compare?
what you value.
Yeah.
The backbone probably has the best like app experience.
Mhm.
And it has more functionality with like finding friends and grouping up with them and stuff. But it has, I know some of those features are behind a subscription, I believe,
Mm.
whereas the Razer
Yeah.
devices do not have a subscription. Never have to worry about that. Um, I like the back brace of the V2, but like I said, I prefer the ergonomics of the V1 a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, what kind of experience are you going for? Like when I
Mhm.
was playing Diablo, like this is great. This is super comfortable, and
Yeah.
worked really well for that. And it's nice to have the extra mappable buttons up here, um, because rather
Mhm.
than like pulling your finger down to push A or something like that, you can just map it
Yeah,
to
you can
that
just
and push it with your finger up there instead. So that's really
very
nice.
cool.
So yeah, it's kind of how I
Well,
left the
yeah.
review. Is like there are pros and cons to each of them. I mean, another pro of the Kishi V1 right now is that it's, I don't know, probably, I don't know what the actual price is. I shouldn't actually say, but it's
Yeah,
it's
no,
pretty
I
affordable.
was about to ask is, so, like, like, with 9to5Toys, like, we are, of course, always covering deals, and so, like, my question was gonna be, do you think that the upgrades are justifiable enough to, like, say that you should skip the V1? Like, sometimes the V1 is, like, 55 bucks, like, it is deeply discounted, and, like, would you say that it is worth paying the extra money to get the latest, or, like, are the changes not necessarily, like, surmountable enough to just, feel like, yeah, like, save the 40 bucks or whatever?
Yeah.
Go
Yeah, like
yeah.
Justin said, yeah, 99, so $100 on the Kishi V2. The V1 looks like it was like $40. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure, which is pretty wild. Um, I would say it really depends on what kind of game you're playing.
Yeah.
Like for me, if I'm playing
I
Call of
mean, fair
Duty,
enough.
like I'm probably gonna grab, like I would probably prefer this. Like
Yeah.
any other game or genre, like I would probably choose the V2. Um, but I don't know. It's kind of like gaming mice too. Like it's going to be a little bit different for everybody,
Yeah. Yeah, no,
to
fair
find
enough.
the right fit. Like if you're, like depending on hand size, like maybe the V2 isn't an issue at all for you.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's
Mhm.
super comfortable. So it's hard for me to definitively say like one is better or you should
Yeah.
definitely get this one without knowing what you want to use it for.
Mhm. Absolutely. And yeah,
Yeah.
in the chat, JCap is asking, will are these banned in certain games? So like COD Mobile, I know has like a competitive, like more competitive, like backing to it. Can you use these while you play, or are you banned from that?
You can.
Like,
So with Call of Duty Mobile,
oh,
you can.
yeah.
I think they put you in a different lobby. Like there's a little thing that pops up on
Gotcha.
screen that says like external
Gotcha.
devices detected. You'll be playing against other people with those.
Good to
Even
know. Yeah.
yeah, and so like I hopped into some ranked matches thinking like
Mhm.
it'd be intense, but
Easy.
like
Yeah.
even in those it was incredibly easy.
Yeah.
If you want to feel like a FPS gaming god, get a
Yeah.
get a mobile controller and play some first person shooters. It's pretty
Yeah.
wild.
I keep meaning to pick
Whereas
one up to play Genshin Impact. I don't know
oh
if you're
yeah,
aware of that game.
I've
Like
heard of it.
the
Yeah, I haven't seen much
yeah,
about it, but
it's I don't like I played it when it came out and it was just kind of like, yeah, I don't really like playing this on my phone. And so I stopped. But
yeah,
now
totally.
yeah, it's some I don't know, like a couple months after I stopped playing, it got mobile controller support and I was like,
Oh
"Oh, that's
really?
neat."
Yeah. So yeah,
Completely forgot
JCap.
about it.
Yeah, JTF specifically mentioned PUBG, and
Mhm,
controllers are still not allowed in PUBG. Like I tried running these, and
mhm.
none of them were detected or supported in there. So I think there might be some regions that they are, but like officially, I don't think they're supported or allowed.
A shame.
Yep. Will you be checking out the mice from Pulsar? I hope so. I haven't gotten any of those in yet, but I would definitely love to check those out in the cursed
Well, yeah,
131 group.
have we covered them on 9 to 5 Toys yet?
I
Or
have not, so I don't know
oh
if
yeah,
anybody has
I
in the
mean,
past, but I don't think I've ever used any of their devices.
no, I mean, I just pulled them up because I'm not personally familiar, and they look very cool. Like,
Yeah,
it's got the cool transparent look going for some of them, like or whatever it is. Like, they look much more. I don't know, high tech than your typical like RGB adorned Razer mouse.
Right. Yeah, I've seen a few people kind of mentioning those in some of the comments of our videos too, as like a good
Yeah,
comparison. So it'd be good to check out.
we'll
Put it
have
on the
to
list.
hook you up and try and
Yeah.
get someone to dive in.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
yeah, JCap, I agree. Genshin Impact is the best MMORPG on mobile. It's one of the best games ever because you got the waifu JPEGs. So what's not to love about that? But
It's
so yeah,
awesome.
I guess like final verdict, like would you recommend the Kishi V2? Like if someone is like just now deciding that they want to try out like COD Mobile or any of the other like iOS games,
Yeah,
is it
it's
worth $100? Yeah.
it's a solid controller. Like everything feels good on it. Buttons feel good. Yeah, like I said, I love that it has that solid brace across the back. You know, even though it
Mhm.
is very reminiscent of the backbone, like I do think that's a better
Mhm.
design for stability when
Mhm.
gaming. So yeah, absolutely, it's a solid controller. And
Great. Yeah.
kind of like what I mentioned, like any of these, if you haven't used a mobile controller yet, any of these is going to be a huge improvement. Like this is pretty much the only way I'll play a mobile game. I don't really want to play
Yeah.
them otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, then I guess just keep an eye out for the next discounts on the Kishi V1. And if
Yep.
you get Jordan saying it's not a huge difference, if you want to dive in for less, then we'll try and keep our eyes out for the price cuts. But
Yeah, absolutely.
um,
Yeah, and
yeah,
I know we featured those in the past, and we've kind of talked about those deals many times before. Like you can often save some good money on that.
yeah. And
Yep.
I guess speaking of like, mobile gaming, but maybe not in the smartphone sense, I'll segue in since I've got the timing to talk
You're
about
nailing these
the
segues.
newest Nintendo Switch. Hey, we'll boot it up a little bit so we can yeah, we've got the Splatoon Switch. We don't have to tell you there's not really too much to talk about with it, but like I don't know, a couple weeks ago we talked about Splatoon and I'm not sure if you played the demo this past weekend or not. Probably yeah, nah.
I did not.
But I yeah, I guess yeah, like last weekend this new Switch arrived and I like was very excited and yeah, I got to play the new Splatoon demo on it for there was the like 12-hour beta for it and the new console's great. I don't know. I'm a sucker for Splatoon and the new Joy-Cons are like just I don't know, very adorable to me. The neon green and purple colors are very sweet and on the back they have these little like tentacle like little like suction cup design things to make it kind of look like a squid.
That's
Um
awesome.
But yeah, I just feel like we had to talk about it a little bit. Like it's a very cool like one-off or like special edition console and I am very excited for Splatoon to actually come out and like it comes out a week from today. So,
Okay. Yeah, coming
yeah.
up very soon. You
Yeah,
had
oh
mentioned at one point streaming some of the beta. Did you end
yeah.
up doing that?
I did not. I was too eager to play it and I was like
Just wanted to
I
enjoy
was like
it.
I don't know if my like and this was still in the like I don't know if the issues from our streaming last week were
Oh,
my end or if it was
gotcha.
like if it was something lost in translation. But
Yeah.
yeah, um Mari in the chat says those are pretty Joy Cons, and I agree, they're gorgeous. They're so beautiful to me. Um but yeah, it's Nintendo never misses. Sometimes maybe sometimes they do, but when they get it right, they really get it right. And this most recent round of like the limited edition Switch has me very excited about what they might do for Pokemon in the next like 2 months when Scarlet and Violet come out. Like, we've never gotten a Pokemon like an actual Switch that's Pokemon themed. They've done Switch Lite Pokemon like special edition consoles, but I'm hopeful that maybe this year, like maybe they'll do it. But
Yeah,
we'll have to
absolutely.
see.
I mean, it seems like they could do some incredible things like that, and obviously
Yeah,
Pokemon would be a great a great
yeah.
subject to have a custom on that with. Did it come with the little
Yeah.
figurine here too?
Oh, no, that's from my personal
Okay,
collection.
nice.
Yeah, I've had them. Um, but yeah, in the chat, Ethan says that's how they get you because they have
Yeah.
the Pikachu 3DS edition. Yeah, I mean, this one was only $10 more than like the standard Switch OLED, which
Oh,
to
okay.
me isn't I don't know the biggest offense. Like it's fine. Um, but hold on, sorry, I'm reading Justin's. It's sold out in most places, but Walmart still has it apparently. So if you wanna lock yours in, you can. But
Yeah.
it's only $10 more, and for me, the theming is is well worth that $10. It would've been great if they had included the game, like, bundled in, but,
Mm.
it is what it is.
Do you know what the game's expected to like price is expected to be?
It's $60, like,
60
it's yeah,
standard.
the usual Nintendo first party price, but
Yep.
yeah, I mean, hopefully next week I don't know, I'll be streaming it or something.
Nice.
Like, yeah, I'll take it off. Sorry, I can't stream next week. I've got some other business to
He
attend
has
to.
other work to do.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Uh, but yeah, it's I don't know. I'm a big sucker for Nintendo stuff, and the newest Switch turned out great. So
Yeah.
if you're into something that's a little funky looking and like has the neon colors that I guess the original Switch started, and like this now new one like doubles down on that. I don't know, it looks great if you're a Splatoon fan or not, I guess in my opinion, but
Absolutely. I
it's
think
some good
that looks
stuff.
like they nailed it.
Yeah. I mean that does it from like my reviews this week. We have some other ones on the site if you'd want are from some other writers.
Yeah.
Not from the two of us, but if you want to take a quick look, we can
Yeah,
go
we can
over some of the other ones real quick.
pull some of those up. Let's see here. Justin did the Mophie, right?
Yeah, and we've
Justin is
got
still in
Justin in the
chat.
chat too. So
Can we phone you in? You want to chat about this one? It's new fabric wrapped 45-watt Power Station Pro. It doesn't even look like
yes,
a
a power bank, yeah.
yeah.
It looks like anything but yeah, this launched I think early like just at the end of August, and Justin got his hands on it very quickly afterwards and has, and was like fast enough to be able to put a hands-on review together for us, which is, it's always great when we have more of these tested with 9to5Toys editions go up. But I'm I before we even get to talking about it, I just have to say that I'm such a fan of the Perler Bead 9to5Toys logo that is in the like second photo down on the
Yeah.
page.
I was just about to
Like
say the same thing.
it's yeah, so
Justin, where'd you
cute.
get that?
Justin, 10 out of 10 for that. But yeah, so Mophie launched its latest external battery. This one comes with a 2000 milliamp hour internal capacity, and they position it as a like jack of all trades. You can refuel your phone with it, or you can even plug in like a MacBook because it has two USB-C PD ports that can support up to 45-watt charging, which is like
Nice.
that's enough for the new M2 MacBooks. And yeah, Justin's saying it's built like a tank, but the fabric makes it a little more like I guess palatable for those who don't want like a big hunk of plastic just sitting in their bag or or out on their coffee table. Um,
Absolutely.
I've always been a big fan of Mophie stuff in the past, and it looks like they really did a great job of mixing the usual um like it seems like it has all the specs that you would want in a portable power station, but also looks better than your typical one.
Right.
I've gotten a couple from Anchor that we've talked about in past live streams, and like all of the great things I have to say about them, none of them are really how it looks. Like they're they're gray pieces of plastic with like lights and maybe a screen,
Yeah.
but Mophie definitely like knocked it out of the park on this one.
Yeah. I've used one of their little Just a tiny little like iPhone charger thing that has the little
Yeah.
actual lightning cable on it.
Hmm.
It works great. It's really well designed. I mean, just like this piece, it definitely adds that like little bit of a style element to it rather than just like the specs of a battery.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think that's pretty evident across most of their product line.
Yeah. So if you're in the market for a new power bank, I know like this time of year is always a little bit rough to launch a new product with Apple just about to have its like major flagship fall keynote event in like less than a week. But unless they announce their own 20,000 milliamp hour battery that somehow looks even better than this, I'd say your money is well spent by going with the latest from Mophie because it looks pretty impressive. And $150 price tag, like it seems like it checks all the boxes for that price if you're after something that's a little more premium than like your run of the mill power bank from Amazon. So
Right.
I don't know,
Yeah,
Justin, is
exactly.
that yeah? Does it seem like I'm doing it justice, Justin? Uh,
Yeah, you can definitely
but
get like that capacity for cheaper, but um, not the style and experience of this one.
yeah. And like, yeah, I mean, like we've reviewed so much tech at 9to5Toys over the years, and like me personally, that when a company actually takes the time to consider design like at all, I don't know, like I can't help but appreciate it just because like there's so like especially at this point, like there's so much of the same stuff from everyone else that when like these more premium brands take the moment and let in at whatever point in the design phase to be like, hey, maybe we should make this a little bit more premium, like, I always gotta give them a round of applause, and it's on sale for their Labor Day event right now at $212. So, an even better buy.
Yeah, there you go.
Um, but which I think is, I think that's all we need to say about it. It's on sale.
Yep. All right, and then we had
And
one other one, kind of go into the audio side of things. You want to talk about the
yeah.
definitive technology?
So one of our newer additions to the 9 to 5 team, Dominic DeFelice, has put together one of his latest video reviews, taking a look at Definitive Technology's new soundbar. They call it the Studio 3 Mini, and just by looking at the pictures, it looks pretty mini as far as soundbars are concerned. And to me, I have this Sonos Beam in my like living room right behind this wall, and it's so big that like I had to get a special entertainment console because it was like bigger than my it was bigger than like my TV, and so I had to plan around just how long it is.
Yeah.
So Definitive Technology definitely is not doing that this time, and is bringing the cinema experience home. At least according to Dom. And so he mainly talks about how nice the small footprint is, which is definitely apparent from the pictures, and from the video too. But um, it looks like the big selling point is more or less that for the $899 price tag, you're getting a complete package. Where like with Sonos, you're gonna have to spend I don't know, like the soundbar that I bought was already like $900 and it doesn't come with a subwoofer.
Mm.
So I think that's the big selling point, it looks like, is that you're getting all of this high-end audio features while like not skimping out on some of the like I don't know, the added bass makes all the difference in my opinion. As like I tried out a hi-fi soundbar from last year. I think from Klipsch. And like I had a massive subwoofer just like in the corner with that, and it was like my neighbors had to have hated me for that. But um, yeah, that's the
Yeah.
one thing with my setup right now that I'm not necessarily like in love with, is that the bass isn't quite as there. And I
Mm.
think that Definitive Technology is kind of like is seemingly solving that issue by giving you everything you need for the price that like other brands would charge you just for the soundbar, which I mean, like, but like, it might not be like I'm not necessarily gonna say that Definitive Technology is the most well-known brand in the world,
Right.
but it definitely seems like that it passes the sound test from Dominic.
Absolutely. And I have
Eh.
some of their towers set up.
Oh,
It's
fun.
made for like a home theater system, but I actually just
Yeah,
use them
yeah,
at my desk. It's kind of like my speaker setup here, and they
yeah.
are, yeah, it's a phenomenal. I mean, it's a really nice looking design, but phenomenal sound coming out of them as well.
Mhm.
So I wasn't really very familiar with them, even before I did the review. But my brother, who's a pretty big audiophile, runs through a ton of different headphones and speakers like yearly. Um, he knew who they were, and he was a pretty big fan of what they're doing. He's like, "Oh, you're getting some of those? Like that's a pretty good setup."
Yeah. I mean, you know it's good when an audio like, when a self-described audiophile is like, "Ooh, those
Yeah,
are good."
yeah, yeah. My brother pretty much changes his audio setup like I monthly probably wouldn't even be a stretch. He's changing something.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I kinda feel about you. I mean, that's how you are with your gaming
I
room,
guess that's
like
true. Yeah, always
yeah.
changing something. Always using a different mouse or monitor or keyboard.
Uh,
Yeah.
but
I feel
yeah,
like
I
I'm in a
mean,
good
like
place now with this latest stuff that just came out, though.
yeah,
But
until
the
I don't know, something drops in like a month and you're like, "Oh shoot,
yeah,
I gotta I gotta redo it all."
it's very true.
Uh, but we should try some
So,
IMEs for gaming.
AMs,
Is that a monitor?
in-ear monitors, yeah. So like kind of what you're using, like
Yeah,
little
yeah,
earbuds, yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Um, I bought some Shure IEMs. Let me see. I play a little bit of music here and there, and so I kind of bought
Oh
these for
yeah.
using on stage, and I tried them for gaming a little bit, and I don't know that these are really um, high enough quality for that. Like I feel like I needed
Hmm.
to spend just a little more money to get something with multiple drivers actually in there, kind of split up the sound.
Yeah. The ones
Um,
that I'm using right here are Logitech's gaming earbuds, and
oh yeah,
they're all right. They're much more comfortable for like this kind of I don't know, like they're much more casual oriented, but um, but we've got a company called Moondrop recommended. I've
yeah.
heard of them.
I feel like someone brought those up maybe in the last stream or a couple streams before. It might have even been JCap. But I've
Yeah, I
definitely
mean,
heard of those. Um,
yeah, I mean, maybe we can get our
definitely
hands
worth
on a
looking.
pair and see what the deal is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's some
Would
stylish stuff too.
Oh yeah. I love when yeah, like I don't like not to just talk not to be like circle back of like what we were talking about with Mophie of that like when companies put the extra mile in to make something look cool, like I'm a sucker for I don't like especially in earbuds when like there's like some of these are very cool looking and I like definitely appreciate it. Like I'm sure they sound great too, but like the the look of it is, is something that I never like that is never lost on me. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
like you gotta go for the aesthetic at this point. Like not everything has to be about like the I guess peak functions. Like you gotta lean into the it has to like look cute too, right?
Yep.
Presentation
Absolutely.
does matter.
Yep. One of my good friends, whenever playing Destiny, he always says, "Look good, play good."
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what gear, as long as it looks good.
Yep.
Affordable as well. Yeah, absolutely. These are yeah. We've been people have been bringing these up a few times, so it's definitely something we need to check out. It'll be
Yeah.
fun to try.
I mean, and if there's anything else that you would like to see us try to take a look at in the future, feel free to recommend it to us too, because we're always taking recommendations for gear that like if you want to see us test it out before you spend your cash on it, like more than welcome to try and get our hands on it and put it through the ringer. But these definitely, I feel like there's only a matter of time before someone at 9 to 5 gets their hands on these Moondrop earbuds and like tries them out. But
Yeah,
I mean, we'll have to
absolutely.
see. We'll have to see who gets it first.
Are they I guess I don't know, like I haven't read up enough on it. I don't know if they're intended for gaming or if it's just like
Yeah,
listening in general.
I
Cuz you
mean, they
said
kind
you
of look a
have
little bit more towards like they look more like hi-fi oriented
right,
than like gaming, but I mean, I'm sure you can game away on them.
right. Yeah, I mean I think some of the best headsets and headphones for audio or for gaming are just like
Hmm.
high-end audio headphones
Yeah,
that have the detail and the clarity and the separation that really help you
yeah,
distinguish where footsteps are coming from.
absolutely. They are designed for music but perform well in games. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the overlap between the two use cases are pretty applicable.
Yeah.
We got Kai Gaming who says hi. Hi Kai Gaming,
Hello.
welcome to the chat.
I
Um,
remember, I think it was in my first year here at 9to5Toys. I got a bunch of headphones from Focal, like
yeah.
super high end brand,
Mhm.
and like one of which was like their, I don't know, their new like closed back kind of like top of the line pair of headphones. And I was like, oh, I wonder how these work for gaming. So like I popped them on and they were really, really good. Like in
Yeah.
PUBG, I felt like I could actually finally tell where people were compared to the even the nice Audio Technica M50s that I was using at the
Yeah.
time. Like it seemed like a really big difference.
Yeah, I mean, for the longest time, I was gaming with a pair of Bose 700 ANC headphones, and they worked pretty well. Like, I wasn't gonna say that they're the top of the line by any means, but the like footstep separation in like the audio cues were pretty like crisp and distinct for like what I was expecting from a pair of like they're meant for casual listening and like blocking out sound, not for like clicking heads in Overwatch, but
But they work well at that too.
yeah,
Oh
they
wow.
happen to.
They have some
um,
really nice looking IEMs. Those are cool.
yeah, we're gonna. Yeah, thank you, chat, for the recommendation here because these are looking very clean.
Absolutely.
But I mean that more or less covers all of the reviews that we've posted this week. Is there, I guess, are there any deals or anything that chat would like us to dive into while we're here, or because like it's Friday, like we all want to kind of like get to the weekend, and it's the long weekend with Labor Day. But um, yeah, if there's is there anything that's on your mind, Jordan, that you wanna talk about, or
Trying to think if there's anything I've been looking for lately or waiting on.
yeah,
I'm
is there
kind of.
anything on the radar for next week?
Oh yeah.
I
Let me
guess.
check
Yeah.
real quick. Um,
Yeah.
what do
You
we
just turn
got?
around and like look at all
Oh yeah.
your
What's in
yeah.
the back? It's right now. It's all boxes.
Uh,
Usually Fridays I try to clean up a little bit, but uh,
mhm.
today was basically just set up the stream day, so I didn't get a
Yeah,
whole lot
fair
of cleaning
enough.
done. Um, Next week we have a couple of things I can't say much about, but we will have reviews. A couple
Yeah, I
embargoed
mean,
pieces.
you gotta love when they're embargoed.
Yeah.
Justin in the chat, real quick, just mentioned that the Apple leather wallets with MagSafe are only $36 on Amazon right now from the usual $59 price tag.
Oh,
If you're
nice.
quick. So if you're an iPhone owner and want to risk it by potentially picking one up ahead of the iPhone event next week. We might see a Gen 3 launch, we might not, but for $36, and if you like the golden like brown or the whatever color that is, the
I don't
yeah,
even know what you call it.
no, oh, it is golden brown. I was gonna say like golden brown is definitely yeah. If you're a big fan of the colorway and like you wanna bring home Apple's latest before it might not be Apple's latest, like it's worth a shot. I love my iPhone, the MagSafe wallet, and I don't have the Find My one, but if that is a feature set that you're looking to take advantage of, $36 is pretty hard to beat.
Yeah, absolutely. We
Yeah.
popped that link in chat so you can check out
Yep.
that post and uh, pick it up if that's something you're looking
Yeah.
for.
Yeah, thanks for the heads up, Justin. I know like
Yeah.
that one popped up early this morning and then like sold out immediately. So I'm glad it's back. But if
Yeah, I'm
there's
just
nothing else that is catching your eye to discuss and chat is going to stay quiet, then we can wrap it up and call it a successful live stream after last week's fiasco.
we did it.
We
I give my computer a pat
uh
on the back because it
yeah.
made it through this one.
Yeah, we'll have more to share about the embargoed stuff next week when the reviews drop. And as always, 9to5toys.com is the place to be for all of that. Thank you for tuning in and chatting with us and listening to us talk about the latest tech. But until next week, hope you have a great holiday weekend and enjoy whatever fun things you get up to this weekend.
Yep. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you later.
Yep. Bye, everyone.